know if you've had this, but there have been many moments in life. My move to Boston was one. Career, which company do you take? Do I go to business school? Which job do I take? Where I really felt like I had two paths to choose.
Totally.
And I didn't always feel equipped to know which one to choose. There are times you're like, oh, did I make the wrong choice? But, you have to remind yourself there is no right or wrong. It's your choice. I said no, and then I basically said to my brothers, at that time both ended up moving to Cambridge, I said, I really want to live in Boston. Help me convince our parents to let me move.
Wait, where was the job offer though? Michigan?
So I had a job offer in Michigan.
Oh,
yeah.
that's what, okay, yeah. Yes, okay.
So I had to say no to a job offer, which my parents were very eager for me to take because it was 20 minutes away from our house. And I said I wanted to move to a city where I don't have any job prospects, no idea if I'm going to work. But my brothers are there, so I'm sure they could, help me out. So I went to Boston, and they were in the tech industry. So I feel like I got some tech training and entrepreneurship training. They had started their own company. They were going through fundraising. So I was like the little sister that would, tag along with all their meetings or their dinners. And in that, I started meeting people in Cambridge and Boston, and I kind of discovered this whole e-commerce boom that was happening. And there were so many agencies that were really specializing in working with different companies to build out their e-commerce experiences and also digital marketing. And I discovered there was this, and this is where I think me being really inquisitive, I would, meet with as many people as I could. I would ask questions. And I realized there's this role of project management, which is a mix of both managing projects through different phases, but also working with clients. And at that time, a lot of the e-commerce experiences were out of marketing organizations. I'm like, oh, this is perfect, right? You can work with everybody from engineers to graphic designers. So there's this nice mix. You're really in the new industry. It was really booming in Cambridge and Boston. And so I was really excited to be part of the tech world. And I eventually got an offer and then ended up joining an agency. And so that kicked off my career for the next 7 years.
So I moved to the big city of Chicago after undergrad. And I did the exact same thing. I had no job, but I just knew I wanted to get out.
Oh, you did the exact same
thing?
Oh, wow. I'm learning new things.
That's why when I read this, I was like, oh, this is great. But I do remember feeling a bit stressed and a bit of pressure to get really any job, anyone that would have me.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear about how you were feeling before you landed the job. How long did that take? And
it was really stressful. I would say I was really fortunate. All three of my brothers have been great mentors, and my two elder brothers at that time, because they were in the tech industry, they really were my mentors, and they were my first mentors after my parents, and they really helped kind of, I would get quite stressed, or I can't find a job, or should I just take this job? And they would really kind of force me to be a bit more logical about it and pull me back from the emotion. And I was fortunate to have that security blanket, but I think without them, I probably would have maybe taken the first. I think, in fact, I said no to an offer, one or two, before I found the right one. And they really helped me negotiate, and they really helped me feel comfortable. I think actually now that it's all coming back to me, I had an offer at a small company, a small agency, and then a bigger advertising agency with a tech group. And I was really confused between the two. And so it was them that helped me logically come out with, okay, what are the advantages? My first pro and con spreadsheet, what are the advantages of each situation? What do I want to do? And I ended up going with a small agency because I wanted to get thrown in and, sort of experience almost what it would be like to have to be in that entrepreneurial world.
You were way more mature than I was at this age. But
how did you go through that phase? Where did you land?
It was 2007, 2008, and I ended up going into a leadership development program at a bank,
wow.
A privately owned bank. It was size. It was maybe a few billion.
Did you want to work for a bank, or was that?
I just wanted to learn. I think my filter has always been learning. I knew I wanted to go back and get my MBA.
Oh.
But you did talk about something I want to call out. One of my mentors taught me this exercise when I was at Cisco much later, but it's the get, give, avoid template. and it's basically pros, cons, and like avoid. And avoid is like toxic
Yeah.
culture, misaligned values. That one's pretty straightforward. But the give and get, so like what do you have to give to an opportunity and what do you have to get from it? Similar to pros and cons, and I've applied it to like every career choice since. I'm fascinated that you did it so early in your career.
I'm going to adopt the give get.
It's
replace
good,
my
right?
pros, cons. No, and I don't know if you've had this, but there have been many moments in life. You know, my move to Boston was one. Career, which company do you take? Do I go to business school? Which job do I take? Where I really felt like I had two paths to choose.
Totally.
And I didn't always feel equipped to know which one to choose. And so, you know, I think I will say this is where you see the influence of family or who your mentors are early on, and I've used it, that kind of format at many of those points. And you know you never know. There are times you're like, oh, did I make the wrong choice? But you know, you have to remind yourself there is no right or wrong. It's your choice.
And even the wrong choices end up being right. Like,
Yeah.
I think that there's a reason that it all happens. My approach is always with learning in mind, like I said. So it's like, is it going to be something I'm going to learn from? So quitting my job in tech and starting Argent was, oh, this will be a great experience. And if in 2 years it didn't work out, I will have learned from it. And then I can always re-enter corporate America.
Were you reluctant to get away, like to do that first step? Like, did it take you, or were you at that point ready to do it?
I had such conviction in what we're building, and the end goal was always so clear to me that it was a very easy decision. And I'm not someone who like falls into like golden handcuffs and you can keep me here because you can keep throwing things at me. It's more I want to pursue my passion. I think I'm a typical millennial in this way, where I want it to align with like my values, my passion, and saw an opportunity to build
Amazing.
what we're building.
That's really impressive.
Maybe. Time will tell.